what a beautiful day. It's that time again. Time for a new drone to be released onto the market by DJI. And I thought I'd take my Mavic Original and go out and do a little flying and talk to you guys sort of one-on-one on if you think that the new Mavic Air 2 is something you need. In this video, I'm going to talk about some differences between the original Mavic Air as well as the Mavic Air 2, and if it's the right time for you to go ahead and upgrade your drone, or if you're getting a new drone, if this is the drone for you. This is sort of just a hang out and fly video, but we're going to be talking back and forth while we fly the Mavic Air and capture these gorgeous mountains that surround me. And before we get it up in the air, I want to go ahead and share with you one of the things that I liked so much about the original Mavic Air, and that was the form factor. I do a lot of hiking out in this terrain, and due to that, I need something that's pretty small and doesn't take up a lot of space on some of these hikes. And the original Mavic Air, it fits in my pocket. Before we get too far into this video, my name is Sean Oz. This is the World of Oz, where I like to share with you how I use drones, action cameras, 360 cameras up here in the Rocky Mountains in my day-to-day lifestyle, and hopefully helping you to be able to create content for yourself. Make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you don't miss upcoming videos. Being in my pocket or not in my pocket, that is not really a deal breaker on this thing, and it does look a lot more aggressive than anyone originally thought it did by those early leaks. The winds have calmed down a lot, so let's go ahead and take this Mavic Air 1, pop it up in the air, get out over that frozen lake and see what we see while we talk about the Mavic Air 2. Problem with these phones is everything is so big now and it's edge to edge, and these come out over the edges, so it's really hard to do anything else or get to the side buttons. With the Mavic Air 2, that problem seems to have been fixed because the new controller has the device on the top and in a way where the sides aren't being touched. And the original Mavic Air uses the DJI Go 4 app. The new one uses the DJI Fly app. A little different. So let's go ahead and launch this baby. We're going to hand launch this because of where I'm at with all the dust and rocks and everything. So I'm just holding it in my hand like so. We're hitting the slider, keeping my fingers out of the way. And we're going to fly it away from us. Let's go ahead and fly out to this little island over here, and we'll talk about the Mavic Air 2 while we're doing that. And we're just flying in regular mode. Everything's in auto right now. As you can see right there, auto. You could switch it to manual, and then you have to adjust your ISO. I like to keep my ISO low if I'm doing manual. And then you got to adjust your shutter speed. I do not have a ND filter on this baby right now. We could pop one in there, but I don't think we're gonna today. There's a little island out in the middle of that lake, and let's just go fly over that. There's the island. You know, it sort of sucks. I had this whole list made up of things that I wanted to talk about the Mavic Air 2. If you've been on my channel for the last few days, you've seen me every night at 9 o'clock doing live video streams, talking about the Mavic Air 2, the Skydio 2, and we're gonna do that again. So if you haven't seen the event yet, if the event hasn't happened, well then you can pop onto my channel and join us in the chat. Otherwise, if the event's already happened, go ahead and enjoy this video because it's got some gorgeous mountains in it. That mountain up on the top right, that is Buffalo Mountain. I have climbed that multiple times. It is an awesome, awesome thing to do to get to the top of that. For the Mavic Air 2 is instead of being a Wi-Fi drone, it is OcuSync 2.0. I'm currently flying with the Mavic Air 1 and it is a Wi-Fi drone. And as you can see, I'm about 1,500 feet away and it's locked in. It's got a great signal most of the time. Depending on where you live and how much interference you get, it does a pretty good job. I've always hated Wi-Fi drones, but I gotta admit that this one has been very, very incredible to me. I don't know how DJI does it, but they tend to make Wi-Fi work better than most other companies. Whew, look at that. That's just a beautiful panning shot right there. Oh, I love it. Nice and smooth and slow. You don't want your yaw to be all quick and erratic like that. See, like if I'm like flying like this, then you know that's no good compared to what you were just watching. As you've seen already, they've completely deserted the old body stylings of the Mavic Air. It is a completely different looking drone now, and it looks so much more like the Mavic Zoom or the Mavic 2 Pro. So when you're flying in with manual settings, you got to stop, readjust, check your settings when you get new angles, because sometimes things are too bright then, sometimes things become too dark, and that's just something you need to do. And from what I understand, in the Mavic Air 2, we're going to have all these manual controls. If you are a Mavic Mini flyer, then you just recently got those controls added to your drone, which is pretty awesome. For the price point that the Mavic Mini is, that's pretty dope. And notice again, as I'm panning around this from the top, we're trying to keep those yaw movements nice and smooth. Right on the left stick and left on the right stick to get that nice panning circular motion going around this entire little island. Getting great signal today, by the way. For a Wi-Fi drone, we're at like 2,000 feet away and we're getting great signal. That little island's right there. It doesn't look like it's 2,000 feet. I mean, literally feels like I could throw a baseball and hit it. When you back out like that and pan your gimbal up at the same time, makes for a pretty cool shot. Then you start strafing right and yawing to the left, and we went too far with our gimbal. That sometimes happens, and that's why you got to go back and make a shot again and again and again. And luckily, with the new Mavic Air 2, instead of like an 18-minute battery life, we're supposed to be getting a 34-minute battery life. Oh man, what a beautiful day. That is peak 1. I think I mentioned that earlier, but if I didn't, that's peak 1. And that big, wide snow area you see, that is actually an avalanche. Last year we had a huge avalanche that completely took out all the trees there. I am really impressed with the signal we're getting today. So we're going to go ahead and pan this way now and do the same thing in reverse. So another thing about the Mavic Air 2 is that it's going to have Active Track 3.0. And on top of that, it's said to have APAS 2.0. And APAS is this feature that, I don't know if it was on the Spark or if it was just on the, I actually think the Mavic 1 was the first one with the APAS. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. However, APAS is what you turn on so that if it's tracking you, it will be able to go around trees and things like that to some degree. Now, I am pretty stoked to see that the gimbal looks a lot beefier in the new Mavic 2 versus the Mavic Air. That's one of the features that I don't like about the original Mavic Air, is the gimbal is very fragile. Another feature that the new Mavic Air is supposedly going to have, ABS-D or ADS-B, I get the initials mixed up. A feature that lets you sort of see where other aircraft are. So if you're flying like this and all of a sudden there's an aircraft somewhere nearby, you'll know and you can bring the drone back to yourself. As you can see, as I'm just flying straight, even in the mountains, when you're up, a couple hundred feet, 250 feet, 270, and you're just going straight, there's not much to it. That's why I do so much lower flying by trees, by rocks. I'll pan if I'm gonna be up in the air. I don't usually keep things just going straight. So that's a little pointer from me to you. If you look at this shot versus, say, this shot.
Low battery warning.
You see, that's one of the problems with the Mavic Air. It is a short battery, and making a video like this, I want to talk to you guys for a little while still. So we're going to pop in another battery. The Mavic Air 2 has low noise prop, so it no longer sounds like an angry bee. An issue for a lot of people. Never bothered me that much, but to some people they had lots of issues because of how loud this was. The new one's gonna be just as easy to catch as this one. While we're down, let's go ahead and talk about another new feature. Is not only does the battery last longer, but instead of loading underneath, it actually loads on the top of the drone like most of the other Mavic drones out there. The Mavic Air actually just pops in from underneath the drone and locks in, and you can see these little tabs, and that's how that works. The Mavic Air 2 is gonna be a top loading battery with a little on-off button on top. So that's another difference as well. So like we were talking about low lane flights versus really high flights, there's nothing wrong with high flights, but if you're gonna do that, you gotta mix in some of these lower flights too. Otherwise, you get content that sort of gets a little boring. At the end of this video, I'm gonna chop up a lot of this drone shots, and I'll show you what it looks like with a little 30-second clip of chopped up things, with a little music behind it, and how even going out and just casually flying like this, you can take some of those clips and actually make a really cool video. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video so you don't miss that. Another pointer I can give you before we get back to the Mavic Air 2 talk is it actually is beneficial to fly within line of sight. You can actually get much more of a dynamic shot, being able to really see where the drone is flying yourself. Yeah, I'm just gonna follow the shoreline here with really casual, slow movements. Notice how I move both sticks around to be able to stay on that shoreline. And by keeping that shoreline right there, I can actually turn faster. And it doesn't look as erratic and weird as it would if I was just flying up high and doing these erratic yaws and strafing motions. And it just makes for such a cool shot too, following a line like that. We'll turn around and do the same thing on the way back. See that turnaround? That would be cut out in a video. So notice my fingers and what I'm doing to actually get these movements. So I'm strafing left and right and yawing. And that's how I'm keeping that shoreline in motion. But this whole time I'm pushing it forward. And trying to keep that shoreline as centered as possible in the camera, which is what keeps it from looking so chopped up and crappy looking. These low line flights, even when you strafe and do this other stuff with them, sure make for a really cool dynamic looking shot. Like that shot low like that just looks sick. Now let me show you something. Let me bring it back here and let's do the same thing, but let's go up even 50 to 100 feet. So that's 100 feet. And we're gonna do sort of the same motion. Back. Now we're gonna go to the right. And as we do that, we're gonna yaw to the left. And although that's nice, which ones seem cooler to you? If you have a Wi-Fi drone like the Mavic Mini, you're going to absolutely love the Mavic Air 2 because if it comes with OcuSync 2.0, so much better than the Wi-Fi connection. That doesn't mean that you can go further, but you can go further, but it means you have a stronger signal on your phone, what you visually see why the drone is flying around, and that is how you get these super smooth panning shots. You just get a better flying experience when you have a stronger signal. Keep in mind, you want to sometimes point your camera down. That's one thing that people forget to do is these gimbals can actually look down. Now, when you're looking over a blanket of ice like that, well, you don't see a whole lot in that. So we're going to move it back over to the shore. And you can see by having it pointing down and following the shoreline where there is difference from the ground to the ice, and we're just sort of panning around and doing the same thing following that shoreline, that is much more interesting than just a big white sheet of ice. And again, these low line shots where you're just spinning around things, you can actually do that and sometimes mess with your gimbal so that you can bring it around and show everybody what you're seeing. And we went too far with the gimbal again. I always go too far with the gimbal. So if you've been a Mavic Mini owner, or if you own a Mavic 1 Air or an original Mavic, is the Mavic Air 2 a good choice for you, even with the form factor being changed? Well, let me land this and let's talk a little bit about that. That was a little deeper than I thought it would be. Now, if you are new to my channel and you've missed the last few live videos leading up to the DJI event announcing this new drone, make sure to go back and skim through them because there's a lot of good information in them all about what this Mavic Air has. And by now you might have already seen what it really has. And you're just here to figure out if this is the drone you should buy or if you should pick up the cheaper little brother, the Mavic Mini. If you already have the Mavic Mini and you're considering doing an upgrade to the Mavic 2 Pro or something a little more expensive, and that price point for the Mavic 2 Pro or even the Mavic 2 Zoom throws you off, then you are a great candidate for the Mavic Air 2. At the price point starting at $799, that is an incredible little bird with the amount of technology that has been put into it. So if you were to upgrade from the Mavic Mini, don't even worry 1 second. You're going to be getting a great product and it's going to be an amazing upgrade. Now, if you have a Mavic 2 Zoom or if you have a Mavic 2 Pro, is it worth it to you to downgrade a little bit to get the Mavic Air 2? It does come with Active Track 3.0, and it has the ABDSD or whatever you're calling that stuff right there, which is sort of future-proofing the drone, as well as APAS 2.0 and a few other cool features and quick modes that you probably don't have with your Mavic 2 Pro or your Mavic 2 Zoom. Now, if you're not using your Zoom or your 2 Pro to its fullest extent, and you don't see yourself zooming things all the time, hyperlapsing all the time, and you're ready for something new, then go ahead. Sell your Zoom, sell your Mavic 2 Pro, and downgrade and upgrade, because it's a little of both, and have fun with something new. If you have no drone at all, should you get the Mavic Mini or should you get the Mavic Air 2? Both are great, and that's going to come down to your budget and what you can afford. If $399 is the price point for you, then buy that Mavic Mini and don't even think twice. It's a great product and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Pretty much anything you buy from DJI, you're gonna be getting a good product. You're gonna be stoked with whatever you get. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. And as I said earlier, I'm gonna jump into those comments and do my best to answer every single one of them to the best of my ability. Now enjoy a compilation of drone footage from this very video, edited in a much nicer way than what you already saw.